Just added the little wheels in here, making certain that they're lined up nicely, so that when there's a little bit of play in there, it'll run the belt through them nice. Now it's interesting that the schematic really doesn't show this piece very good, but anyway, how does it go that way? So it's a funny sort of angle they've actually, that way, sorry. Very funny angle they've got it on. The bottom bit here doesn't really, doesn't stand out in the drawing too good. But anyway, that's where it does go. Just make certain that when you're doing your grub screws, that you make certain that it's on the flat of the drive shaft. Otherwise, you'll have it rotating out of sync, as they say. It'll just spin around when you tighten it. Yeah, so we get on to the next stage, which is this little bit over here. Just adding 4 little bolts through, and T-bolts. I hate them things, but that's another story. The 4 little bolts have now been added, so it fits like so. On to the next bit. Down here, I'll move it. There. This thing, assembling that. That looks like fun. Let's get on to it. We've got this bit here put together, and we're about to flip the page, and it's the same part again, it looks like. How's it done that way? That way. We've got a couple of other bits to add on, so let's get on to them. We've now got this little part fitted, and they spin reasonably freely. They're not overly tight. A bit of a wobble, which is allowing for the movement as per instructions. Now we're up to the next bit, which is this one. Same part again, adding a couple more little bits and pieces to it, so I'll do that now. I've added those 4 little bolts there with the T-nuts on the back. This thing all assembled. Interesting little piece of equipment so far. Let's get on with the next bit, which is this. Got the bed sitting in there, moving smoothly. It's firm. I've adjusted using the eccentric nuts underneath there, which is a bit hard to see. So you just give them a bit of a twist to get the levels right. And yeah, she's so far so good. We're on to the next stage. Just completed that part. As you can see here, we've got the rollers all fitting in there nicely, bolted in on either side, and not over tightened. Okay, on to the next bit. Blue Loctite has now been added to the threads. You only need a little dollop, don't need much, and it just drops down into the thread and holds the bolt in place so it won't work loose. Yet you can still put a tool on it, a spanner, and it'll give way very easily. It's just a bit of added security, because the last thing I want is the bed to work its way loose in the middle of a print. Now we're up to this section here, which is putting the belt on. Now this is wrong image, it shouldn't be there. But anyway, the belt is not that hard to do. I'll just zoom out a little bit, I think, the other way, and see if I can bring this in and show you. The belt itself fits through the middle of the extrusion. See if I can, there you go, so you can see it fits through there. So smooth surface to the top and obviously the bottom. You loop it back on itself, and then use a couple of cable ties. I use 2, one in opposite directions, and lock it in place, and obviously do the same at the other end. Now at the moment it's reasonably tight, but not enough. Before you actually cut your cable, push both the motor at this end. I'll get that out of the way. Push the motor in, and this end also in, so that way you've got a bit of adjustment pulling out, so you can actually apply more tension onto your belt. If you don't do that and you cut it short, yeah, you're going to have tension problems. On with the next bit, which is, I don't know, let's find out. Turn the page. Okay, oh, that looks exciting. Up the top there. That one. Wonder what that green is. Find out in a few minutes, eh? Okay, after having a look at this picture here, it's actually out of sequence. That one is wrong again. It's this one here, and the bag is A10, and now they're supplied M3 by 12. What we need to fit the fan into it, into this little thing here, is M3 by 20, so I've got to get hold of some little bolts. Anyway, we will continue. And just having a look at the images, these three shouldn't be here. It's we're supposed to be assembling this part on the top, as you can see, so these images are incorrect. It doesn't matter, we can still assemble just by looking at this picture on the top here, so we shouldn't have any problems. It's still got to be done.